Hello everyone, this is Witt with PragerU. Today we are joined by Sebastian Gorka. How are you doing today, sir?
It's CPAC. I'm very good.
Yeah, and you spoke here, didn't you?
I was on a panel yesterday with John Batchelor, and then tomorrow I'll be the first speaker in the morning on Saturday.
That's exciting, and Trump actually just spoke as well. What did you think of his speech?
Absolutely fabulous, especially when he went off his auto cue and spoke from the heart. He did this amazing poem about a snake that you let into your house and then bites you as an analogy, as a metaphor for the broken immigration system we have. He defended our Second Amendment rights. He's actually looked at the audience, thousands and thousands of people, and said, I will never let them take your Second Amendment rights away from you. So it was an amazing speech.
Yeah, well, he does really well when he's off the teleprompter sometimes. I think that's where he's really strong. So, but he talked about the shooting. What are your thoughts on the shooting? What do you see as the next steps for America? What should we do to stop these?
Well, it's very easy. If you look at the facts, the president's speech was all about common sense. It's just common sense to know you can never legislate guns out of the hands of criminals, terrorists, or the mentally unfit. The attack in Florida is a person who clearly was not mentally competent, should not have had a weapon of any kind, 39 engagements with law enforcement, expelled or at least suspended from school. The reality is we have a mental health crisis. Since the 1970s, thanks to the left, it is practically impossible to have somebody adjudicated as mentally unfit, and it's even harder to have somebody institutionalized for more than 3 days if they are a harm to themselves or others. That has to change because we can't have unstable, mentally incompetent people able to buy guns. That's the only thing that's going to save our children.
I definitely agree. Well, what do you think about the media, pushing their anti-gun agenda and basically not listening to anything that you just said?
It's why nobody listens to them. I mean, look, CNN is now ranked 13th in national polling. More people watch Nick at Night cartoons than Anderson Cooper. Anderson Cooper, on a good night, gets 700,000 viewers. We are a nation of 320 million people. When the president says the president said numerous times today fake news, he pointed to the journalists in the back of the room, and everybody knows they're fake news. From Russian collusion to banning a gun will make us safe. Well, guess what? In France, a terrorist killed 82 people with a truck. What are we going to do? Ban trucks?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, it doesn't work. Gun control doesn't work, and any gun-free zone is where a lot of the mass shootings actually happen. I
was listening to the wonderful Andrew Klavan yesterday, and he cited a piece that had just come out, a research piece. 98% of the mass shootings we've recently had have occurred in gun-free zones. Let's just let that sink in. 98%. So as the president said, you're creating an environment that attracts the mass shooter by saying, oh, nobody here is going to be able to defend themselves. Come on in, slaughter everybody in here.
God, it's just horrible what happened, and we got to do something about it. But Dr. Gorka, we appreciate having you here today.
Anytime. I love PragerU, your videos, what Dennis does.
Do you have a favorite video?
Do I have a favorite video? Yes, I do. He did a video, I think it was recently, unless it's a repeat, that explained the crisis in the Middle East in 7 minutes. It was I'd never thought you could explain Israel's right to exist and everybody threatening them around them in 7 minutes. It was masterful.
Yeah, well, that's what PragerU does. The short, concise videos, getting them out to millions of people.
So, Dennis, I want to do one for you guys as well. I'm waiting.
We'll get you on something.
All right.
Hey, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, guys.
It's Witt with PragerU. Thank you. Hello, everyone. This is Witt with PragerU. Today we are joined by Rick Harrison from Pawn Stars. How are you doing today?
Doing fabulous.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
Doing good, yeah.
How is CPAC for you so far?
It's been pretty neat. It's been fun. It's like I was telling you earlier, I'm one of the very few conservative celebrities out there, so it's really hard to get anywhere without taking 100 pictures. So
yeah, it seems like the people here love you and they love the show.
It's the shows keeps on going on. I don't completely understand why people love to watch about 4 fat guys in a pawn shop, but no, it's we're up to 511 episodes now.
That's insane. And so what actually spawned you to be more conservative and more vocal about being conservative?
I own a business.
It's true. It's common sense.
It's common sense. I have 6 kids. I have 3 grandkids, and I just want to see a better world for them. And the last 8 years before Trump, I mean, it was just everything was just going. It was just getting worse and worse and worse, and I just figured something had to be done. And I know I can't change the world, but maybe I can change it a little bit.
Yeah. Could you tell your business under the past administration versus the current administration, the differences and how?
Well, yeah, people are realizing, I mean, right after Trump was elected, I mean, sales went up, a degree or two because people just felt better about the economy. They thought they're going to be able to do more business. They thought finally there's going to be a change.
Yeah, definitely. And so you're here at CPAC. What are you speaking about, actually?
One of the things I'm speaking about is they don't give you a whole lot of time up there, so like I want to cover like 100 subjects in 10 minutes. But my main point I really want to get across to everybody is here at CPAC, everyone's talking about all the things that need to be changed. None of that's ever really going to get changed unless we change the education system first. Kids come out of high school, they have no idea what it's like to be an American. They come out of high school, they don't teach virtue, they don't teach morals anymore. Kids come out of high school and they think a corporation's an evil thing. They don't even know what a corporation is.
Yeah.
They think capitalism is bad, but they're not even taught really what capitalism is. It's, high schools, public education anymore is just a giant, it's to help your self-esteem.
Well, they're taught to hate America as well in their high school.
Yeah, I mean, and which boggles my mind because I've been all around the world. I mean, for the love of God, I've been to Kuala Lumpur. And trust me, you don't want to live in places like that.
Yeah.
You do not want to live in India. There's a reason why everyone in the world wants to come here.
Yeah. You definitely don't want to live in Venezuela or any of these places where they have socialism.
Yeah. And socialism, it just doesn't work. I mean, take Argentina in 1920s. Per capita GDP in Argentina was 80% of U.S., and it was on track to beat us. And then they came up with this great idea of socialism, and now look at them. You know what I mean? That was literally. Most people think that the Hindenburg crashed in New York on its maiden voyage. No, I'd already been to Buenos Aires a dozen times because there was more business down there. But then they started this whole. They went down the path of socialism, and it just destroyed their economy.
Well, it always sounds great right at the beginning, and then once it's
it sounds. It's the old adage, if you're 20 years old and you're a Republican, you have no heart, and if you're 40 years old and you're a Democrat, you have no brain. No, it's just socialism sounds great, but but the fact is, capitalism works, and there's no perfect system. You are never going to have a system where nobody falls through the cracks. I mean, you can try your best for that not to happen, but there's no such thing as a perfect system.
Well, capitalism makes it so people have the most opportunity, the most freedom to make their own choices.
Yeah, I mean, all throughout history, I can give you example after an example of how capitalism raised the living of people's standard of living around the world. Everywhere from Switzerland to, there's a reason why England became the industrial powerhouse it was. I mean, anybody could do business there. They weren't that nice to their colonies, but in Great Britain itself, there was a reason why it became the industrial powerhouse of the world, because they basically let anyone do business.
The open and the free market lets all that happen.
Yeah, and we just don't teach young people any of that anymore.
I don't think. I mean, you could take 90% of young people, and they have no idea what capitalism even is.
They don't. They
think it's greedy business owners taking people's money.
And they don't seem to realize, those corporations are why you have a phone. It's why you have a car. It's why, your parents were able to get a mortgage and buy a house. It's all because of corporations.
It definitely was. One last question. I wanted to know this personally. What is the craziest thing you think that you've ever gotten at the pawn shop?
Craziest item? Well, to me, it's all sort of normal at this point in my life. No, I've gotten everything. I didn't bring it with me, but every once in a while you'll see me on the show or getting an interview. I'm wearing this goofy-looking bangle bracelet, but it's It's a 1,200-year-old Viking bracelet. I have my son on his desk at work has a Wheaties box with Nancy Kerrigan on it.
It's not so bad.
No, I have. It just goes on and on and on. I have maps of the island of California.
The island of California?
Yeah. Long story, but they actually thought it was an island there for a minute. I don't know.
It's crazy how people just find this stuff and bring it in. I mean,
Yeah, well, there's billions of people on the planet, and there's billions of weird things. So
Yeah.
everybody's got that weird thing, or everyone's like, well, Grandma's got that thing in the attic, So
yeah, exactly.
I mean, so that's the great thing about. That's one of the reasons why my show keeps on going on, because it truly is different every week.
Well, thank you so much for joining me, Mr. Harrison. Check out Pawn Stars if you haven't seen it. Most people have. We're thankful that you're a conservative celebrity. We need more people like you.
Monday nights on History.
Awesome. Thank you for watching. This is Will Witt with PragerU. Thank you.